Dissolved gas models versus bubble models, and there's all sorts of terminology here. In the lab I work in now, we call them content versus gas versus bubble models. So we talk about the content of gas in the tissue versus, irrespective of what form it's in, whether it's dissolved or in bubble form, or bubble models. And the content models are really the traditional or not so traditional versions of what Haldane did originally and published in 1908. There's been some developments on that and with all sorts of names associated with it. But one model is a development from the other. They're not separate. All decompression models look at the uptake of your breathing gas diluent, helium or nitrogen, into different parts of your body and during the dive and the washout during the decompression. Now, that gas that's absorbed in your body, into your tissues, is the reservoir for forming bubbles. And the amount of decompression, the amount of supersaturation that you do is the impetus for bubble formation. So a content model just purely looks at how much gas is there in the tissue as the only measure of the risk of decompression, and doesn't examine bubbles directly. Now the reason for that is that's really easy to do, and it works in a lot of circumstances. But what a bubble model does is it takes that same structure of the model for gas uptake and washout and then says, let's actually specifically look at bubble formation. Instead of just how much gas is left there or how much supersaturation is, let's take both those calculated values and see how bubbles would behave. And that's a much more satisfying type of decompression model, because we're pretty sure that bubbles cause decompression sickness. You can see I'm equivocating a little bit about that because it's something that's never proven but everyone believes. But so looking at a bubble model is intellectually more satisfying. It's another part of the puzzle, and also those models behave in different ways that we're beginning to think. Well, certainly technical divers think that behavior affords them better decompression, and people who are scientists like myself would very much like to investigate and see whether those different behaviors of the bubble models do result in measurably different types of decompression.